Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with today's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but first, we want to give a shout out to all of our partners, the Florida Coaches Coalition, We Coach, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. You've heard me say many times, these are four great organizations. You really need to add them to your network. And now, don't hit that fast forward button. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes. We're going to give our sponsors a shout out. These are all companies I used as a coach or as an athletic director. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to thank our good friends at Hometown Ticketing for their support. Go to hometownticketing.com. It's the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. And the Hometown staff will show you how to set up and sell tickets online, not just for athletic events, but things like school plays and concerts, school dances, even graduation. And the best part, every single school is assigned a dedicated client success manager to provide hands-on support every step of the way. That's every step of the way. Hometown is digital ticketing that offers more. Go to hometownticketing.com and get started. We also want to thank Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. If you're looking for a fundraiser, stop right here. Snap Raise is hands down the best fundraising platform out there. But there's Snap Store, Snap Connect, Snap Manage, and a whole lot more. You'll find them all at snapraise.com. We also want to say thanks to Home Campus, the exclusive information management and high school association platform for the Educational AD Podcast. It's also your one stop for things like scheduling, student athlete eligibility and clearance, and a whole lot more. As an athletic director, I used Home Campus every day, and it was just great. To find out all the things that Home Campus can do for you, go to homecampus.com. It's that easy. Go to homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule a live web demo and see their scoreboards and their score tables in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to get signed up. Sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank Huddle. Go to huddle.com, change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, and it was just fantastic. But when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that helped them coach our kids up to their highest level. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thanks to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all your teams, for all the events, or to recognize your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Their interactive touchscreen video consoles are going to help you recognize your school's proudest moments, celebrate your diverse history, and acknowledge your top role models. Mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. We want to say thanks to District 1. That's District WON. And you're going to feel like you've won when you see their collection of custom uniforms, their on-time delivery, and their one at a time replacement program. You're never going to have to buy a full set of uniforms when you only need to replace one or two. Go to district1.com, click on the Team Gear button, you'll get a free quote. That's district1.com. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Athletic surveys are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve your entire program. Athletic Surveys also connects you to your parents and your student athletes. ADs already hear from the people who want to complain, the 2% that gripe about everything. Athletic Surveys connects you with the 2%, but they also connect you with the 98% that love and support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking with a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com Let them show you how they can create a custom survey that'll let you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. That's athleticsurveys.com. And we want to thank Gipper. Go to Gipper.com. Start creating world-class marketing content for your school's social media channel. The pros at Gipper are going to show you how to do this in seconds. It's so easy, even I can do it. If you're not on social media, you're missing the boat because your kids are. And Gipper allows you to celebrate your athletes, promote your teams, and join the over 3,000 athletic programs that are using Gipper nationwide. That's Gipper.com. Once again, mention the podcast, you'll get a nice discount. Gipper.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We've got one of our more popular Wednesday Wisdom guests today, Jen Garrett. If you're new to the show, Jen has an incredible background. We can't do it justice, but she is an author. She's a two-time best-selling author. Her books Dominate the Game and Move the Ball should definitely be a part of your library. She's also a podcaster. She's a very successful entrepreneur. She works with NFL players. She does it all. Okay. Jen Garrett, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Hey, thanks so much, Jake. I'm glad to be here with you yet again.
Well, again, for our listeners, we're recording this on July 25th. So you're hearing it about 24 hours later. So very timely information. Jen, what do you got for our listeners today on Wednesday Wisdom?
Well, thank you again for having me on. And, I always think about what do I want to share with your audience when we do these segments. And I think it's important just to kind of share what's in your mind and your heart. And something that happened recently that was completely unexpected and shocking is I had a client pass away on Friday evening. And I want to share that with everyone today because life can change in an instant and tomorrow is never promised to any of us. So I just want that to be a reminder. So what happened real quickly was this client was texting me or he called me Friday. I was in the middle of something that evening. So I said, I'll call you on Saturday morning. And Saturday came and I texted him and I said, hey, just want to check in and see when are you available for a call. And I hadn't heard from him. A few hours later, his fiance called me, who was also a previous client. And she's like, Jen, I just wanted you to know, I saw that you had called and I just wanted to let you know that her fiance had passed away. What had happened was a tragic accident. He had fallen down some stairs and there was hemorrhaging and there was nothing the doctors could do to save him. So very, very sad story. But I mean, it was just, he called me at 9:00 at night. So at some point in the next few hours, he had fallen down the stairs and had that accident. So, I mean, again, just a reminder to everyone, I want you to think about, are you being intentional with every single day? Because we never know when the next day isn't going to come. So make sure that you're doing things to really go after the life that you want, to go after the goals that are important to you. And I want to share 5 things today. The takeaway is I want you to remember choices. We all have the choices of what we wear, what we eat, what we do, how we spend our time. And so for me, Jake, you had a wonderful introduction of things that I'm doing, but it's been a journey to get there, as you know. And it starts with really just having the courage to go after what it is that is important to you and giving yourself that permission. A lot of times people think that they don't deserve to have a certain life or they shouldn't have that for whatever reason. Insert the excuse here. And so it's really about first giving yourself that permission and starting to believe in yourself and that you can. I mean, today we live in an era where you can really reach out to anybody, create any relationship, make things happen. Whereas 20 years ago, 10 years ago, the ability to connect with people and try to create opportunities wasn't there. So, or it was a lot harder, I should say. So really start with believing in yourself, and what you tell yourself is either going to help to propel you forward because you're going to make the right choices to get you in the direction that you want to go, or it's going to set you back because you're filling your mind with negative thoughts or doubt or fear or whatever. So really step 1, start believing in yourself and making sure that you are filling your mind with things that are going to help you to move forward. We tend to be our harshest critic. We know this, right? So you have to condition your brain to not think that way. I mean, I've built this brand the Move the Ball brand and the movement, Jake, as you know, around football, not knowing anybody. I had zero industry contacts when I started, and it's been a rough, tough road, but it starts with what you believe in and starting from a place of yes. I think that's important. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and he said, Jen, it seems like so many people start from a place of no, but you always start from a place of yes. So that's what I want you to take a hard look at. How are you starting when it comes to your day and the goals that you're trying to go after? Are you starting from no? Or are you starting from yes? And if you're starting from no, then we know that we got to change that, right? The other thing that goes along with that is taking ownership and accountability. A phrase that I like to say a lot is own your game. You really have to be, and I mentioned this in my Move the Ball book, you have to be that quarterback that really takes command and takes charge over whether or not you're going to move forward towards your goals or not. Sometimes people think someone else is going to do that for us. Yes, it takes a team to help us move forward, but it really starts with you having ownership and that accountability. And you have to be accountable in the football context. Usually you have your coaches or your teammates that are holding you accountable. But when it comes to your life, who's holding you accountable outside of a sport or your job? Nobody, right? We have to have that accountability ourselves. So make sure that you are owning your game and being accountable. And it's okay too if you don't get what you want to get done on a certain day. You just put that in your plan and you figure out, how do I get that done the next day? So it's important to make sure that you are giving yourself grace when you don't get everything done. Life happens, things happen, but you got to just build that accountability into your daily and weekly routine. The next thing that I think is very, very important is to verbalize words of affirmation and make sure that you're bringing confidence into your day. We all know how you show up matters. So show up being that confident person. You've given yourself permission to go after what you want. Now be confident in your ability to get that done. And as I mentioned earlier, what you tell yourself is either going to lift you up or tear you down. So make sure you're verbalizing these words of affirmation. You're making sure that you are filling your mind with good thoughts, not just positive ones, but about confident thoughts, about things that you know that you can go out and do. Because when you are in that frame of mind, you're going to want to take action. You're going to do things to get you where you want to go. Even when things don't go your way, it's also important to, again, keep having those positive thoughts. Something that I've done, which I would encourage all of you to do, is write notes to yourself that are positive and uplifting. So when you're having a bad day, when you get rejected, when something doesn't go right, you don't get that job or you don't make that sale, whatever it is, you can come back to these notes and it'll remind you why you're doing what you're doing and to keep going. And Jake, you mentioned one of my books, Dominate the Game. In the end of that book, or at the end of the book, I actually include an appendix that has 5 notes that I wrote to myself when I was in a very vulnerable state, because I wanted to have those so I could come back to them when I had another vulnerable or unhappy or disappointed state, to remind me why I'm continuing to do what I do. So I would encourage you, that's one call to action, is write notes to yourself so you can have those as reminders to keep you going. Next, I would say surround yourself with people that are going to uplift and empower you, because we all know that who you align yourself with matters. As they say, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with, right? So make sure that you have the right people in your life. It's not just about positive people, though. That is important, but also make sure you have people that have the expertise in where it is you're looking to go, so you can learn from them. They can mentor you, they can guide you, they can help you avoid costly mistakes, they can help you accelerate your learning curve in the areas that you maybe need to grow and have more guidance. So another thing is, take a look at who are you spending your time with. Are those the right people? If they are not, that doesn't mean, I'm not saying sever all of those relationships. It's just a matter of thinking, from the people that I interact the most frequently with, are those the right people? And do I need to find other people that I should bring into my network and my circle so that I can continue to make progress on whatever it is I'm looking to do? And lastly, take consistent action every single day. We know that how you show up matters, but you got to take action. You can't just have a positive attitude and that's it, because then you're not really going to get very far. So it's about spending time on the things that are the most important to get you to whatever your objectives are for that day, for that week. There is no shortage of things we can put on our to-do list. So it's really about prioritizing and making sure that for today, that I am working on the right things. Tomorrow, I'm working on the right things. If this thing doesn't need to be done today because it doesn't help me achieve whatever my goal is today, I push that off until tomorrow or next week or some other time. So it's really about prioritizing what are the things I need to spend my time on this day, tomorrow, this week, whatever, so that I can feel like I'm making progress on the things that are important for today and for this week, not just let me just take care of this because I can. If it's not important or it's not getting you to what's important for you now, then push it off, get it done when that time matters, but focus on how do I spend, we all have 86,400 seconds every single day. So how are you going to spend each of those seconds? Time is like money. So think about this. If I say yes to something and I'm going to commit my time to this thing, this task, then I am saying no to something else and it is at the expense of another task. So are you willing to do that or not? And when you start thinking of it that way, it makes it easier to prioritize what you should be doing each day. So those are my nuggets for today on how to be intentional. Remember, life is tomorrow's never guaranteed, tomorrow's never promised. So make sure that you are spending every single day being intentional, being deliberate, and working on the things that matter to you. And lastly, remember that you deserve to have everything that you want. So condition your mind to believe that and believe in yourself and then go after it.
Well, you probably saw me furiously scribbling down notes there. Great stuff. As the old coach, I'm going to, boil it down probably very poorly. But I love what you led with, that we have choices in our life and, we can choose to be confident, not overconfident, but confident in the things we know we can do. I love the positive, self-talk, your theme about, or your point about showing up. Hey, you choose to show up. All comes down to choices. Just always, Jen, just always great stuff. If one of our listeners wants to find out more, we've mentioned the books, Dominate the Game and Move the Ball. They're on Amazon. Check them out. How about the podcast? Where do they go to find that?
Yeah, so the podcast is called Move the Ball, and you can go to movetheballpodcast.com or just search Move the Ball on your favorite podcast platform and it will pop up. And I'd love for you to check it out if you're looking for some tips and strategies on how you can continue to move the ball.
And if they wanted to reach out and pick your brain directly, and listeners, you got a great resource here. How do they do that?
I think LinkedIn is the best way, or you can go to my website and send me a note. If you just go to LinkedIn and type in Move the Ball or hashtag Move the Ball, you should find me pretty easily.
Yeah, and I can attest, Jennifer's very active. She's got a very strong LinkedIn game, has some great posts. So if you're not following her, definitely start following Jennifer Garrett. Jen, thanks again for taking time out of your busy day to share with our listeners, and all the best on your many projects that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jake. It's been great being with you today.
Oh, always fun to spend time with you. For our listeners, we do this every single week, and we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate you listening. Come back next week for another great Wednesday Wisdom segment, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, we do want to give another shout out to our sponsors. If you're not using these products, you really need to check them out. Home Campus for scheduling, for student athlete clearance, coach clearance, parent communication. Go to homecampus.com. If you're looking to buy uniforms, District 1, that's WON, district1.com. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com. Snap Mobile is the parent company for an entire suite of platforms that you can find at Snap Raise. Go to snapraise.com. Check out the fundraising platform, but check out the others as well. Snapraise.com. Gipper is the official social media graphics solution for the podcast. And if you go to Gipper.com, they're going to show you how to create world-class content for your school's social media channel. Go to Gipper.com. Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. You heard me say before, one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. With the advertising features, it paid for itself before we ever used it. Okay. SidelineInteractive.com. Great products. Wall of Fame. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your record boards, your school's Hall of Fame, or just tell more compelling stories, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. At the schools I worked at as an athletic director, we use surveys for everything. And if you go to athleticsurveys.com, they're going to create a custom survey that'll let you take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. Go to athleticsurveys.com to get started. And we want to thank Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com, get started today. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom and just about every day on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening.